I've seen a lot of people miss out on a golden opportunity by chasing a check instead of maneuvering for a piece of equity. Probably the most egregious example is my former associate, Sha Money XL.
So today we're gonna be talking about Sha Money XL. He's a record producer, songwriter, DJ, record executive, and music manager who's got a talent for creating headlines. He's the guy who helped 50 Cent to make it big and later got booted from Epic Records following Bobby Shmurda's arrest. Sha Money XL began in the 90s as a record producer, working with the likes of Snoop Dogg, Cormega, Lil' Kim, and Beanie Sigel. But soon enough, he became a jack of all trades in the music business. His story is filled with juicy bits from feuds with 50 Cent to endorsing Bobby Shmurda and a surprise beef with Joyner Lucas around 2019. Buckle up, cause this story is about to get interesting. What up guys, Ali here and welcome to Ali Talks Music. Add me on Instagram at Ali Talks Music as well. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Now let's get into the video. Now, let's start from the beginning. Sha Money was born around 1976 in New York as a first-gen Haitian American. His mom sent him off to piano lessons at 9 years old, and he later said he just knew how to play. When he was 13 years old, he switched from piano to being a DJ, where he discovered his passion for music and everything in between. Sha Money XL had this to say: "I used to always be up at the radio at night, so I got to meet all the underground MCs. I started putting out independents myself, had artists that I was putting out. I even started pressing vinyl myself, doing everything from produce it, to press it, to put it out, and promote it." Sha got his first production credit around 1997, and soon after, he was interning at Def Jam Records while studying at NYU. That's when he met Jam Master Jay and 50 Cent, and things really began to take off. Sha and 50 Cent got along really well, and soon began working together.
I'll tell you the honest to God truth, right? His studio was in Queens on Brookville, Snake Road, right?
Okay.
This area. And we was in the basement, me, him, and some of his guys. And he was playing me some new Lost Boys songs. Of course, everyone's an Onyx fan, so I knew what that was.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then he played this other kid. I was like, I want to work with him.
In their earlier collaboration, 50 took full advantage of his opportunity, producing tons of tracks in a short amount of time, including the title track Power of the Dollar.
You don't have to respect the nigga, but respect his stash. Cause for the money, niggas will murder that ass.
But the year 2000 turned out to be a very tough year for 50. He was shot and dropped from Colombia. This led to his debut album being shelved, although it was widely bootlegged. But here's where things get a little bit fuzzy. Sha Money and 50 Cent were tight, like business partners tight. They even had matching tattoos of the script Get Rich or Die Trying, which also happens to be the title of 50 Cent's debut album, Unshady Aftermath. Sha and 50 Cent made business moves together, namely Teamwork Music and the Money Management Group. Around this time, Sha Money was also building a reputation as a producer. In 2001, he worked with several artists, including Tragedy Gaddafi, Beanie Sigel, and Cormega. By 2002, 50 was back on his feet and ready to make some noise with G-Unit. Sha was right there with him, working on tracks for 50's mixtapes, Guess Who's Back, and 50 Cent Is the Future.
Black flashy like Alpo, gun happy like Pappy. Sneaky remind me a nigga that clap me.
Then around 2003, Sha Money got his big break, co-producing tracks on 50 Cent's debut album and working with artists like Lil' Kim and Juvenile. Things really began to heat up when Interscope gave 50 Cent his own label, G-Unit Records, and named Sha Money the president. They had a solid 4-year run, managing the group like absolute pros. And the best part is, everybody was very tight. Alongside his duties, Sha Money was also co-producing and killing it in the process. 2004 was a very busy year. He co-produced some tracks including If You Saw Gangster and When the Chips Are Down for Lloyd Banks, and Oh No and Snoop D-O-double-G for none other than Snoop Dogg.
Funny how the world revolves around my clique. Cause just a year ago a nigga ain't have shit.
2005 was even better. Sha Money was a brain behind Cormega's Angel Dust and Junior Mafia's Do a Damn Thing. He also co-produced 50 Cent's This Is 50, Slim Thug's The Interview, Tony Yayo's Tattoo Teller, and songs like Things Change and You a Shooter from the Get Rich or Die Trying film soundtrack. Around 2006, he was part of the team that worked on Mobb Deep's Put 'Em in Their Place, Lloyd Banks' Rotten Apple, Help, Life, and Little Scrappy's Baby Daddy.
Infamous up in this, you know how we get down. Is that your girl? She feeling our style.
2007 was a very epic year too. He played a huge role in 50 Cent's video game, 50 Cent Bulletproof. But then around 2007, things began to go sideways. Despite his many roles in the group, president, go-to producer, manager for Lloyd Banks, Young Buck, and Tony Yayo, 50 and Sha Money began to butt heads over money issues. They kept the details under wraps, but the tension was definitely there. From the outside, it seemed like Sha Money decided to peace out from G-Unit, causing a whirlwind of rumors. There was some tension between them, but just how serious it was remained a mystery. Years later, Young Buck revealed that 50 Cent and Sha Money's tension impacted his career. This is what Buck had to say.
Their issues was, from my understanding, about money, you know, and 50 immediately started to bring me and the guys together in the rooms at the office and say things like, well, look, y'all gonna have to find another manager. You know, at the time, Sha was the president of the company, the manager of me, Banks, and Yayo. He wore so many fucking different hats, bro. The producer, he did everything. He's producing tracks, he's the president of the company, he's the manager. And then all of a sudden, him and 50 stopped seeing eye to eye for whatever reasons, which put me in a position where I had to make a decision on whether I'm gonna continue with him being my manager or not, when 50 just told all of us that we needed to go find new management because he's cutting his ties with Sha.
The problem was that Buck and Sha were very good friends. Buck was even the best man at Sha Money's wedding and was closer to Sha than 50. In addition, Buck just dropped an album, and without a manager, he didn't know what to do. So, unlike Tony Yayo and Lloyd Banks, who followed 50's orders, Buck refused out of loyalty to his friend. Now you know how 50 is. He didn't like the way Buck ignored his orders, and as a result, he ostracized him and Sha Money from the group. By around 2008, Young Buck had been expelled from G-Unit. However, he remained signed as a solo artist to the label. 50's alleged reasons for removing him were because Buck would diss the group publicly, would miss recording sessions, and was using drugs.
In regards to me and 50, it was a little bit different because it was an individual who was considered my big brother. And I never in my life would thought that he would have said or done some of the things in regards to me and understanding where we were at as a family, you know, and not just me, but even the other guys as well.
However, according to Buck, this whole thing happened because of Sha Money's loyalty to Young Buck and vice versa. Now, after his beef with 50 Cent, things began to look a little bit rough for Sha. Around 2008, he co-produced Unexpected by Scarface.
I look at all the times I fought, then look back on them times I lost.
But then around 2009, he went radio silent, not producing anything. 2010 saw a small comeback with Ghetto USA by Stat Quo, but the fallout with 50 was still impacting his career negatively. For the next couple of years, Sha Money was not producing much, instead switching gears around April of 2010 when he landed a job as the senior VP of A&R at Def Jam Records. This was a turning point for Sha's career, and he was extremely happy about it. He said the following: "I've been floating around this industry since I've just been executive producing 50 Cent's albums, freelancing, doing my own thing. Finally, the call came. Def Jam is such a strong company. I knew that this is something I can do with my New York vision and New York swag." Not long after signing to Def Jam, he got asked about the possibility of signing to G-Unit, the label, despite the past beef. Sha was all about his business. He said he had already talked to 50 Cent and Chris Lighty and would be open to joining them. After 3 years with Def Jam, where he represented the likes of 2 Chainz and Big Crit, Sha made another big move in his career, transitioning over to Epic Records and becoming the EVP of Urban A&R around 2013.
How should a writer approach the email to you?
It's just a description of who you are, what your goal is, what's your vision. If you have any links to your videos as well, like YouTube or any SoundCloud.
So is there a magic number?
I'd say 3, top 3. Just not too much verbiage.
This gig seemed more in line with what he was doing at G-Unit, but things did not go as planned, and it turned out to be Shmurda. Around 2014, Sha Money was on a mission to find the next big star, kind of like a mentor figure. That's when he came across Bobby Shmurda, a kid from Brooklyn who had a summer smash known as Hot Boy.
And Monte keep it on him, he done drop niggas. And he be wildin', he some hot nigga.
Sha saw something in Bobby Shmurda and arranged for Shmurda to audition for L.A. Reid at Epic Records. Shmurda did not come alone. He brought his entire GS9 crew. They put on a show with such energy and charisma that it reminded Sha Money of G-Unit.
We heading out to Philly. Smoking frontal, bitch, no Philly.
Epic decided to sign Shmurda right there and then. That was around July of 2014. Shmurda was only 19 years old, but there was a lot that Sha did not know about Shmurda. Sure, he knew that Bobby Shmurda was deeply rooted in the streets and had a certain street credibility. Sha even knew that they were involved in some shady stuff. After all, so was 50 Cent, and look how he turned out. Sha Money's plan was to help Shmurda and GS9 transition from the streets to stardom, just like he did with 50, but he did not realize how deep Bobby Shmurda's street ties went. So, Sha took Bobby under his wing, and things seemed to go well initially. Bobby and his crew were off the streets and working hard, recording, touring, and promoting their music. Sha even put on his producer hat for the first time since 2010 to work on Wipe That Case Away, a track from Bobby Shmurda's debut album.
Why they wanna put some fraud on me? They said I ran with a touch on me.
By September, Bobby's song Hot Boy had an official remix featuring big names like Jadakiss, Fabulous, Chris Brown, and Busta Rhymes. Bobby was making appearances everywhere, from the Jimmy Fallon Show to the BET Awards. But Bobby was not alone. He was always with his GS9 crew, who also served as his security, and yes, they were strapped. But being everywhere also meant attracting the wrong kind of attention. Cops from Bobby Shmurda's neighborhood began recognizing him and followed him around, even on tour and out of state. The problem was that GS9 was still living their street life even while on the move. This issue came to a head around December. Sha was in New York for an Epic Records Christmas party and decided to visit Bobby Shmurda at the studio. He tried to steer Bobby away from trouble, but Bobby was not the easiest to guide. Even other artists had heard about Bobby and GS9's rep and were trying to advise them to calm down. Just after Sha left Bobby, the police raided the studio. People hid wherever they could, but by 7 a.m., everyone had been rounded up. Sha had a gun pointed at him and was handcuffed to the floor. One cop told him, "This guy says, so you're the guy that signed Bobby Shmurda?" I said, "Yeah. Why? What's up?" He has an MCM bag. He puts it on the pool table. "What if I make all these guns yours so you can go to jail and not have to sign no more of these motherfuckers? Because you're signing them and you're letting them buy these guns. And they're going back in their neighborhoods and they're shooting people. So you're the problem." After the raid, NYPD arrested 15 members of GS9, including Bobby, but let Sha walk away. It turns out they had been investigating the crew for a while, which is why they'd been following Bobby everywhere. All the members were charged with conspiracy, and some of the crimes took place after Bobby was signed to Epic. At first, Sha thought they could just bail Bobby Shmurda out, but Epic was not G-Unit. Epic was a corporation with its own policies, and Sha did not have financial authority. In the end, Bobby went to jail, and Sha's reputation took a massive hit. Bobby was not bailed out because Epic did not see the sense in spending $2 million on an artist who had only released one hot song. This whole ordeal changed Sha's perspective of the industry and eventually cost him his job. He said the following: "I got let go in April, so I ain't have a job. So it was like, alright, but I don't want a job no more. What am I going to do? Sign another artist to a label and tell them we got you when we don't? I don't want to do this no more." So that became a thing. I don't want to sign artists to labels because the label ain't got my back. How the fuck am I going to tell artists I got your back? Meanwhile, around 2014, 50 Cent decided to reignite his feud with Sha Money and made their past disputes public. He even posted an old photo of him and Sha with Sha's face crossed out in white, captioning the picture, "Success can turn old friends into enemies. You soft, you will always lose going against me, boy." The feud between 50 Cent and Sha Money was not completely out of the blue, as 50 explained a year later around 2015 in an interview with Power 105. According to him, Sha became very greedy after 50 began making big bucks, and that's what destroyed their relationship. 50 shared,
We started together in this basement. You know what I'm saying? And when I actually received the check from actual the deal with Interscope and Aftermath and Shady, they go $1 million something. He see everybody reaching at my pockets, and he's doing it too, because they're thinking it's just what they're supposed to do, like the business. And then I get a call from Chris. Chris tell me, "Yo, what we gonna do about Sha?" I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Oh, he trying to play me against my man." Because me and Chris was just getting together like that. I'm like, "Yo, I was closer to Sha and Chris." And he's like, "No, he's asking about how to charge for studio time." And I'm like, "For what's the studio bill? His light bill?" So when I paid the $50,000, check this out, he asked for $50,000. I said, "Yo, don't take $50,000, take $30,000 in a point." Mind you, the point was worth $1.3 million.
Damn.
I sold 13 million records on that album. So it's like, take 30,000, take 1.3, 30.
Right.
Instead of 50,000. And then when we come back to the lawyer's office, he says, "Yeah, I spoke to 50. He said the 50 was cool." I go, "There was only two options. He said 50,000. Give him the 50,000. I give you the 50,000 cash as singles right now, because he didn't understand what he was doing at that point." Then the lawyer goes, "No, listen. Can I say something to him? You know, like, can I just say something to him, because I don't think he understands exactly what he's actually doing." I go in the other room. He come back. He said, "Okay, I'll take the 30,000 in the point," because the lawyer was like, I'll give you 20,000 for the point right now." You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to take this. And then he was like, all right, because he thought I was trying to give him less money.
Right.
After the record sells, well, we was at like $9 million at that point. Interscope gives me $15 million for Unit Records. Now, when I get it, I go, like, you're not my partner. Like, you've been paid for all of your services.
So after Sha heard about this interview, he fired back. Things began pretty chill, but by the end, he was pretty much as salty as 50. He called 50 Cent out, and then claimed that he was the reason for G-Unit's success. Sha went pretty savage with the tweets, saying things like, "Don't believe the hype. Who wants to be partners with him?" And even calls 50 Cent a Walmart ass. 50, for the most part, did not respond. After all of this, Sha Money kind of says, "Screw this," and backs off from big labels. He began focusing on his own indie company, Teamwork Music, signing fresh talent. After this, he went back to co-producing, working with Mac Miller on a track called 100 Grandkids. Then around 2016, he co-produced the track One Below by Damo Genesis. He kept co-producing. Then around 2019, he was put on blast by Joyner Lucas, causing another minor reignition of the 50 Cent feud. Joyner took to Twitter, tagged 50 Cent, and said the following. When 50 Cent started publicly airing out Sha Money XL and assassinating his character, I never understood it. I get it now. I let him go 6 months ago because he doesn't work but wants to collect a check. I got a lot of questions I believe only 50 can answer. Tell 50 hit me. In response, 50 said the following. Damn it, man. Told you he a whole sucker. In response, Sha tweeted, these rappers tell lies and always want to act like victims. So in essence, Sha Money's career took minor setbacks because of the following reasons. For starters, 50 ghosted him and made Young Buck choose between 50 and Sha. Then there was the Bobby Shmurda incident, which in the end caused him to lose his job. He then tried to focus on his own thing, his own company, but that didn't work out pretty well for him. Despite having issues with 50 in the past, Sha Money seems to be over this and praises 50 Cent in interviews. Today, Sha seems to be fairly busy. He's a proud father and seems to be working with underground or independent artists from Queens. That's it for me, it's your boy Ali. What happened to Sha Money XL in your opinion? Let me know down below. Also add me on Instagram at Ali Talks Music. Till next time, peace.